Hi, Dr. Singer. Thank you so much for being with us today.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Doctor, what causes osteoporosis and who's at risk?
Osteoporosis is a chronic progressive disease that is defined by weak bones. It's caused by either too much bone being lost, not enough bone being formed, or a combination. Osteoporosis literally means porous bones. So bones weaken over time, they become thinner and more brittle and therefore more likely to break. Both men and women are at risk for osteoporosis. There are 10 million people in the United States with osteoporosis, and a fracture due to osteoporosis happens every 20 seconds. So those are kind of daunting numbers, and it makes it important for all of us to think about bone health.
Really eye-opening. Should only people over 50 be concerned about osteoporosis, and what about the younger people?
I think people of all ages should be concerned about their bone health and about the potential for osteoporosis. Certainly this is something that increases with increasing age, but it's interesting to note that we reach our peak bone density at about age 30, and after that gradually lose bone. So that, in combination with other risk factors, makes us aware of who might be at risk. And those risk factors include things like age, as we mentioned, a family history or genetics, particularly history of a hip fracture in mom or dad, being of low body weight or thin and small bones, and anybody who's had a fracture as an adult, because a first fracture doubles the risk for future fracture. In addition, we can think about certain lifestyle factors like smoking or excessive alcohol intake, and those are obviously things that we can modify.
How can someone learn about their risk of developing osteoporosis?
I think it's important for everyone to think about speaking with their healthcare provider to learn about their risks. They can discuss whether or not they have risk factors and whether or not they should have a bone density test or a DEXA scan, which evaluates bone density, how much bone there is, and whether or not they're at risk, because we know that the lower the bone density, the greater the risk for fracture.
So if you have early signs of bone loss, is there anything you can do about it?
There are a number of things that we can do to prevent further bone loss and hopefully to keep our bones healthy and prevent fractures. A healthy diet, so balanced nutrition, adequate calcium and vitamin D intake, weight-bearing muscle strengthening exercise, and preventing the risk for falls are all very important to ensure good bone health.
And so for those with osteoporosis, doctor, why is it so important to reduce the risk of breaking a bone?
It's very important to reduce the risk for breaking a bone because a first fracture doubles the risk for future fracture. Once somebody has had more than one fracture, that risk increases even more. And we know that fractures can be life-changing or life-altering events. People may no longer be able to do the things that they're accustomed to doing, living independently, and we really want to ensure that people can live healthy, active, productive lives. So making sure we prevent that fracture is of the utmost importance.
And doctor, where can we go to get a bone density scan?
There are a number of places that one can go, and I think it's important for people to speak with their healthcare providers to find out where in the local community they can go. But bone densities are done as outpatients, so they can be done in a healthcare provider's office if someone has the correct equipment. They can be done in an outpatient hospital setting, in a radiology center. There are a number of places where we can obtain this painless, non-invasive test that can give us important information about one's bone density.
Doctor, thank you again for being with us today to share this valuable information. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. And if your viewers want more information, they can go to the International Osteoporosis Foundation website at iofbonehealth.org or the National Osteoporosis Foundation website at nof.org.
Thanks again, Dr. Singer. We appreciate it very much.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Bye-bye.